My name is Kyoko Fushimi, and I'm an ordinary 27-year-old social worker. This time, I think I'll talk about my strange family. This topic can be traced all the way back to when I was a young girl. Back then, we were a simple family, living together, the four of us. My mother, Kuniko, my father, Kazuyoshi, and my older sister of 1 year, Uriko. Could it have started in elementary school when we started to notice big differences in how me and my older sister looked? My sister was a beautiful girl and looked nothing like me. So, of course, she was pampered by everyone around her. And with me looking like nothing of interest, I was sometimes pitied by onlookers. Well, there was nothing I could do about that because those people were strangers, but my parents also favored my sister. She was prioritized with things to wear and toys, and I was always left alone and unhappy. And my sister herself, well, hey, bring me a juice box. Also, the small bones and fish annoy me, so pick them out, all right? In this way, she developed the habit of ordering me around on a daily basis. Furthermore, using the fact that I was only good at studying, she made me do her homework too. Because of this, I was always mastering the study materials a whole grade ahead of me, but I lived through my elementary school life being used by my sister. In a way, I actually became her housemaid. At first, I wasn't happy about this, of course. Do it yourself! Why do you always make me do it? But once I say these things, my sister ran to my parents, crying, and I was later scolded unfairly. If I resisted my sister's wishes, not only would I be scolded, but I wouldn't get meals either, so I had to obey. With my blood boiling this life of hell, I did my best in drowning my emotions with studying. Could have been fortunate or unfortunate, but because I was doing all of my sister's homework, my grades were always impressive. In this way, I entered the top-class high school to prepare for university. I never laid off on my efforts to success, and at the university examinations, I was offered admission to a prestigious university with a full scholarship. I never had any hopes that my parents would pay for my education, but my financial worries were soon out the window. I chose a school that definitely had dorm rooms, so I was out of my parents as soon as I graduated high school. Finally, I was free from my family. After that, although it's busy with studies and a part-time job, my university life is so amazing. But as I started my second year, I got a line message from my mother. "It's been a while. How are you?" Wait, what's going on? So it's wrong to contact my daughter who lives far away from me? This past year, I've had nothing from you. Don't blame me if I'm a bit skeptical of how do you do out of the blue. What a nice thing to say to your own mother. Anyway, you had something to tell me? Actually, Eriko is engaged now. She's still a university student, right? Yeah, but it looks like she was locked by her partner. I mean, after all, she can't leave a girl like her, can you? Right. That's it? Usually you ask who her significant other is, right? If you want to talk about it, by all means. Surprisingly, he's apparently the CEO in charge of an IT company. You're kidding me! So does that mean he's apparently about as old as Dad? After that, he's apparently still in his mid-30s. Such a wonderful life, while still so young. Even so, he still seems a bit old. But who cares, I guess. Tell her congrats. Alright, I'm gonna do my assignment now, so I'll see you later. Wait. The really good stuff hasn't started yet. He's going to gift us with his presence here at home, and I'd like you to be here too. Why should I? You don't need me. He said that he'd like to meet everyone in the family. I'm not coming. Too bad. If you don't, I'm going to your dorm to get your butt over here. Don't do that, it's gonna be embarrassing. Well then, be a good girl and come back home. As usual, being Miss Goody Two-Shoes and spoiling my sister rotten, I can only let out an exasperated sigh about my mother. Obviously, I didn't want to go back home. But if my sister is going to marry someone rich, then they won't pay any more heed to me. I became hopeful that this time, I'll finally be able to cut ties with them completely. And here I am, back home for the first time in about a year. I prayed with all my heart that this would be the last time. When I went inside, my parents and my sister were all there. Her fiancé would arrive a little later, almost immediately after my arrival.
Hey, get the coffee ready. Oh, but first, we're out of tea, so go buy some.
The usual housemaid bullshit. Then her fiancé arrived.
My name is Masamitsu Asahara. Thank you for taking some time out of your day.
My sister's fiancé did indeed seem high in the ranks, but he also looked high in cholesterol levels. No way this guy's my sister's type. But it shouldn't be a problem since he's pretty rich. Upon meeting him, my parents were like, "Oh no, it's our honor to have you visit us, and we offer our humble gratitude."
Please, do make yourself comfortable.
Although it is my sister's fiancé, you could actually see them rubbing their hands with hope. Oh yeah, they did say something about wanting to move because of this old house. What surprised me most, however, was my sister's attitude.
I poured you the tea you like most, Mr. Masamitsu. I also got you some treats I thought you might like as well.
We've been together for so long, but it was the first I saw her serving someone. It hadn't been 15 minutes since her fiancé arrived, and I was already feeling nauseous. But aside with how he looks, Mr. Masamitsu was like,
So, you're Kyoko, the younger sister. I'm so happy to meet you. I do hope we can get along.
Upon talking to him, he seemed very well-mannered and honest. As I was thinking about how much of a good man he appeared to be, I began to feel some pity. He was going to deal with this kind of family for the rest of his days. After getting engaged, my sister dropped out of university. Well, she hasn't got the need to study anymore, so it could be the case. Furthermore, she hauled the whole burden of preparing the wedding onto my shoulders. Even very detailed work like handwritten invitations was all done by me and me only. And on the big day, my sister looked beautiful in the dress that cocooned her. But what's on the inside is the problem. Even when wearing an extravagant dress.
This dress costs 3 million yen, you know. Take a good look at it, because you're not getting anything close to this.
She gives the tedious side of life to someone else and still treats me like shit. All of that aside, the ceremony finished without anything going wrong. The burden is now off my shoulders. As I predicted, after the wedding, I never got any contact from my sister or from my parents again. No doubt they're living the leisurely life full of extravagance and have forgotten all about me. 7 years later, now at 27, I'm working hard as an employee at a major foreign capital firm. At this age, the pay I'm getting is rather quite something. Not only that, I also got myself a boyfriend, Tatsuma Ukigaya, my superior at the company, and a manager even though he's still in his 30s. At around the time of our first anniversary,
Please, will you marry me?
Yes, I will. To my great surprise, he even proposed to me. As you can see, life was getting great for me. But one day...
By the way, because we're getting married, I should have the pleasure of meeting your parents sometime, right?
You really don't need to.
You know I can't let that not happen. We're inviting them to our wedding after all.
Is this really necessary?
I mean, usually, I guess.
You're right. I understand. I know I understand, but...
Hey, I have a faint idea that things back at home aren't going too well.
You thought right.
Oh my gosh! Was it something abusive? If it was, I can understand why you don't want to see them.
No, it wasn't anything near physical abuse. They never really paid any attention to me. And what with the years going by without any contact, it's a little complicated.
If there's any reason why you would rather not meet them, I'll respect that, of course. But I'd also like to know what exactly that reason is, if that's all right.
I'm not, forbidding it or anything. Do you really want to pay them a visit?
It's something formal, but it's the least I can do now that we're getting married.
All right then, I'll let them know. How's next Sunday?
I think I can make it. There's some work I've got to take care of, and that might make me a bit late.
Then I'll go ahead, and once you're finished with your work, please join us.
Got it. What should I bring as a gift?
I think they'll be happy if it's something a little expensive. I'll see you on Sunday then. And this is how I told my mother of my engagement, and how I reluctantly went back home. To my surprise, home had now changed to an expensive mansion in the middle of the city. Probably something my sister's husband owns. Once I went inside, my sister was the one to greet me, even though I hadn't invited her. Upon seeing my face, my sister said as she smiled, "Marrying someone with the likes of you? What a curious character. I won't mock no matter what man walks through that door, so don't fret, okay?" Casting aspersions as such, but later on.
Thank you for having me. I'm Tatsuma Ukigaya.
As my fiancé walked in, the atmosphere changed. After all, he is an unorthodoxly handsome man. His job is a manager of a major company and an elite who's accomplished some extraordinary things at a young age. And because the company is based on meritocracy, his yearly income exceeds 10 million yen. With a high-ranked man exceeding all her expectations walking through her door, my sister had a jealous look on her face. My heart lightened up a little bit. But perhaps as a form of revenge, how about we look through the old photo album? There are some photos of young Kyoko, too. Well, I mean, it could be something usual when having your fiancé pay your family a visit, but I was always looking pretty grim as a child because of my family's situation, so there were many photos of me that aren't exactly nice. Look at this here. Kyoko was a stern girl who never smiled. We were often told that even though we were siblings, we didn't look like each other, lol. My sister beating around the bush with the insults, and my parents additionally said, "Really? How are you two so different from each other, even as siblings?" LOL.
It's like there's not much color in how you look or act.
In the case of my parents, instead of saying what they thought about me, they just went along with my sister. But even so, saying these things in front of my fiancé, I was of course sad and embarrassed. For the few hours I was back at home, I was doing my darndest to fight back the welling tears. My name is Eriko Fushimi, and I'm a 28-year-old housewife. Recently, my sister brought her fiancé back home, and I was wondering what man a fat, blank bitch like her would bring home. To my bitter surprise, it was a handsome, elite office worker. I really thought it was a prank. As for my husband, while he's rich, he's not doing too well compared to once upon a time. That's because of his company losing steam. Furthermore, while he was fat from the beginning, after marrying me, he got even rounder. Even though I was already never gonna love him for his looks, nowadays, it's often I consider it disgusting how round he's become. I forbid myself falling lower than my stupid sister. I forbid it. That's why I made up my mind to steal her fiancé away from her. Hello again, Mr. Tatsuma. I hope I'm not intruding.
You aren't. But how did you find out my ID?
Your name is on the business card you gave my father.
I see. And how can I be of assistance?
Not so much assistance, but rather, I thought it would be nice for us to get closer.
With me? Again? Why, if I may?
To be honest, I was interested in you since we first met, and I would really like to get to know you more, Mr. Tatsuma.
I'm already engaged to your sister, and pardon me, but you're also married, are you not?
Yes, but although this is quite the direct way of putting it, you know how my sister looks pitiful or rather unattractive. I thought it would be more acceptable if you had a woman like me walking at your side. Honestly, things with my husband haven't been going well recently, and I feel lonely.
I see.
So, how about we go for a drink this weekend? You may even stay the night if you'd like.
What an interesting idea. Do you know a resort called the MoniRobo Hotel?
Of course. That's super expensive hotel in the city, right?
How about living a few days of super extravagant life in a trip to Tokyo?
Oh, how wonderful! Please take me with you.
Then I'll pick you up on Friday evening, and we'll have a nice meal at the hotel restaurant. And later, let's relax in our room.
I'm so excited.
As am I.
I danced the light fantastic at results better than I'd even hoped for. All that was left was to make him obsessed over me, and he'd ditch my sister. And on the big day, I was brought over the threshold of hotel property at Mr. Tatsuma's side. First, because it was a little early for dinner. We were going to have some tea in the lounge, but upon reaching the lounge...
Eriko! What on earth are you doing here?
Mr. Matsumitsu? What a coincidence! To my shock, my husband was sitting there. The same husband who isn't making things work with our relationship. And then, something even more disturbing would happen. Sis, you do know I'm getting you for this. My younger sister appeared too. Then, with a face that said everything was now in order, Mr. Tatsuma said,
All right, now that everyone's here, I will explain the situation.
What he started explaining with a cheerful aura was that, firstly, my husband's company was doing worse than I'd imagined, and it was eventually decided to be sold to a major company. The buyer was the company where my sister and Mr. Tatsuma were employed. It seems a coincidence that she's now in charge of her older sister's husband's company. The arrangements were soon going to be complete, and the final meeting was going to be here in this hotel. In other words, it was planned that I was taken to see my husband. To the still confused Mr. Masamitsu, I gave additional information. Of course, I told him my sister was seducing my fiancé and came to this hotel. His face became increasingly red, and he began to shake with anger. I mean, like, duh. No, you've got it all wrong, Mr. Matsumitsu. I had something to discuss with Mr. Tatsuma. She desperately tried to walk away from this situation, but it was a futile attempt. After all, the messages seducing Mr. Tatsuma were all very well saved in the chat history. And then Mr. Masamitsu said,
I'm sorry, but today's meeting will have to wait. I've made an appointment with my lawyers.
And left the scene. My sister, whose marriage was now in shambles. What is the meaning of this? This is too cruel. Working together, the both of you to catch me. Started accusing us, but...
Going home after I paid my visit, Kyoko told me everything that you and your parents have done to her. Compared to what you've done, she's much more attractive than the likes of you. And anyway, weren't you the one who invited me to do something together?
Mr. Tatsuma coldly rebuked her. Sis, if you just left us alone, we weren't gonna do anything. But because you're meddling with my life, I'm no longer going to be patient. I also rebuked her as such. She was later divorced. Normally, she would have given some financial aid afterwards, but her husband had signed a prenup before the wedding, so she was thrown with next to nothing. Sure enough, my parents were living at Mr. Masamitsu's mansion, and had no choice but to leave. Their whole lives were being taken care of, and my father had left his job. They were apparently living semi-retired lives, and leisure and love. In other words, my parents and my sister were all thrown away, all unemployed. A depressing, hard life is waiting for them now, I'll bet.
My name is Sakura. I'm in my second year in high school, and I'm the eldest daughter of a family of 4. For a while now, my mother is very strict with me. She wasn't just harsh. I was her target for downright temper tantrums and resentment. As it may as well be, because my mother was raised very strictly by her parents. Her clothes and accessories were cheap, and they wouldn't buy her makeup or undergarments, and she apparently went to school underdressed. And if she resisted a little too stubbornly, well...
Hey, Makiko! Come here!
Is something the matter, Father?
You know very well what's wrong. What time do you think it is?
It's only 5 o'clock. And where has my adolescent daughter been this whole time? I was at the stationery store. That's where I lost a bit of time. Oh, a stationery store, you say?
I called one of your classmates and they said you were at a coffee shop.
I'm sorry. You lied now, did you? How audacious. No dinner for you tonight, Missy. I hadn't eaten anything yesterday either. I can't go any longer.
Shut the hell up!
Ugh.
Think about what you've done in the barn. You'll be staying there until morning.
It's the middle of winter. I'll freeze to death.
You think I care? Can't you see you'll never learn without such measures?
Repent well tonight.
The strict educating of my mother by my grandparents proceeded even after she got a full-time job. All of her wages were given to her parents, and she was only given a small allowance that covered her commute with little to spare. I was told it was during this time of her life that she met my father, a humble man who was kind to all. He was, in a way, the first kind of man my mother had ever met. My mother aggressively sought after him. They very soon became a couple. However, my grandparents wouldn't allow this, as you would expect. My mother was numerously chastised, beaten, and dominated by my grandparents. During these times, my grandfather had forgotten to douse his cigarette, which resulted in a fire that killed both my grandparents. Out of sheer luck, my mother was in a barn that night and survived. With nothing else to slow their relationship down, my mother very soon married my father. 3 years later, I was born.
Let's make this child's name Sakura.
That's a perfect name.
I don't want this child to become someone like me. I'll raise her with all the love in the world.
Good. Grow up to be beautiful and wonderful, like a cherry blossom.
But that promise would soon be forgotten unknowingly. My mother grew to hate me as I got older. I will never forget what she said to me when I was 5 years old.
Mommy, let's play house together.
Play house by yourself.
But I want to play with Mommy.
Don't be selfish.
What? I want to play house.
Oh my God, you're so annoying.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
If you're gonna apologize just like that, don't make a fuss in the first place. You really are like me.
Just like Mommy?
Listen here. You're just like me when I was younger. I don't even want to see myself when I was young. You're not my daughter.
At only 5 years old, I was fired by my mother as her own daughter. But on the other hand, my father was very kind to me. There was the fact that he knew about my mother's past, and it wasn't that he didn't understand how she feels. That's why, after sensing some coldness, my father would shower me in love to make up for it.
How about playing house with Daddy?
Okay.
Mommy says these things, honey, but she loves you so much.
Are you being soft on Sakura again?
I'm not being soft on her. I'm interacting with her as the father of my daughter.
I never knew you could be so soft.
Calm down, Makiko. You should understand with a bit of thinking that this is perfectly normal.
Maybe.
Sakura is Sakura. Right, Makiko?
For a while, my mother had the support of my father, and somehow managed to raise me without resorting to child abandonment. But after some time, I got myself a younger brother, and soon began the complete erasing of my existence from her mind. Even in my final years of elementary school, she was inseparable from my brother.
I'm home.
Masato, what would you like for dinner tonight, honey?
Hamburgers!
Then I'll make hamburgers for you.
Wasn't it a barbecue tonight?
Masato says he wants to eat hamburgers, so stop being selfish.
Well then, I'll give you a barbecue tonight, Sakura.
It's okay. I don't really.
Daddy wants to eat that too.
Here we go again. You're such a bitch. You think that by having a man by your side, you'll get your way. Is that it?
I'm not thinking that.
A man? Hey, I'm her dad.
Her dad? For someone who can't correctly educate his son and daughter, you sure have the moxie to say that.
You can't educate them just by being strict. You of all people should understand this.
Shut up, you piece of shit! You don't make much of a living anyway. How about you get your ass to work harder before saying shit like that?
But that's beside the point here.
Go to hell with it! Come along, Masato. We're eating out tonight. There's some delicious parfaits too. Outside!
Yeah, I am, Mom.
Daddy.
As time went on, my father would suffer more and more whiplashes by my mother. From the start, he was a mild-mannered man who avoided conflict, which is why he could never say anything back at my mother when she abused him. Eventually, my father would come home after work and be forced to do house chores like laundry and dishwashing, which had been done by my mother. He took on these responsibilities in silence. I hated seeing my father like this, so we divided up the chores between us. Because of this, my skills at housework are top-notch. My brother, meanwhile, was spoiled, and even in junior high school, he would be at the bottom of the barrel with his studies. And one day, as my university exams were just around the corner...
I have to talk to you.
What is it?
I'm thinking of sending our Sakura to university.
What?
Even in high school, Sakura was at the top of the pyramid with her grades, and she has hopes of becoming a lawyer. That's why I want her to get into a good university.
I refuse. But, Mom, it's a waste of money.
A waste? You mean to tell me you don't want to support your own daughter's dreams?
Listen, university is a place to goof off, after all. Come a lawyer my ass. It's the norm to do a year over because of too much goofing off. I'm going to study hard, Mom. I'll graduate in 4 years' time, and I'll pass the bar exams as quickly as I can. No can do, Missy. You're like me, right? You're gonna slack off anyway. I would.
Listen here. You and Sakura are nothing alike.
What shit's coming out of your mouth? In any case, if you were making a more decent living, we wouldn't be fretting over this nonsense.
But that's...
You both know full well that we are quite tight for money, right? Are you not even planning to work and pay back the money we'd give you? How much money do you think you yourself siphoned out of us? It's all your fault, Mom. What? You're the one going out with Masato even though there's no reason to. And without all of the after-school stuff he does, we would have more leverage.
Sakura!
You know this, right? Masato's always skipping all those things he does after school. If he really was going to cram school, he wouldn't have the grades of a jellyfish. And when did he ever participate in those recitals for his piano classes? Why don't you ask him? Masato, darling. You're going to those clubs after school, right?
Yeah, I am, Mom.
He's saying he's going to them. Then how about we call on his cram school and see if he really is? Enough! How dare you? How dare you? Not even working and leaving all the housework to us. How do you explain going out to tea with your friends all the time? Even I need some time to take away from all the stress. What freaking stress? That's all you do is relax. Enough. If you're saying all this bullshit, why not go to university? But you pay for your own tuition. Get whatever scholarships you can, and definitely make sure you pay us back in full. Am I understood? I understand. Also, I won't accept even a single year do-over. It's a deal. For you too. Always with the pathetic silence. We're done talking about this. Come along, Masato. We're going out.
I'm a-coming, Mom! I'm sorry, Sakura. For being like this.
You shouldn't have to apologize, Dad. My mother's all to blame.
She isn't to blame. She's been through a lot in her past.
I know about that. But I doubt that's connected to this anymore.
Your mother's saying all these things, but you really don't need to make money or pay us back, all right?
But the money...
I'll manage the money with extra hours at the office. But in the meantime... Mom's literally the word. I've slowly stashed away the small allowances and my bonuses in secret. I don't know if it's enough, but the money's yours, and after the university exams are over, get yourself some nice clothes and other things you like.
This much money? I feel so sorry.
I'm the one feeling sorry. One of these days, I will have a real talk with your mother. We just have to be patient. Do your best on the exams, okay?
Oh, Daddy. Thank you so much. I studied very hard for a year and passed at the law facility of a prestigious public university. After admitting, with the money my father gave me, I never had any financial trouble with my school life, my time with friends, and with textbooks. I'm so thankful for my daddy. And then, 2 years passed. I started my 4th year and my brother's high school graduation was getting close.
Sakura? You're graduating from university soon. What are your plans?
Actually,
In order to become a lawyer, I apparently have to go into graduate school.
Is that so?
So it might cost more money.
I did some research about that. And Dad's got you covered, honey. I'm still working after all.
Oh, Dad.
I just wanted to clarify if you were still on the path to becoming a lawyer. If you're ever short on money, just let me know, okay? You have a boyfriend, right?
Oh, you knew?
How about bringing him over here sometime? Whether or not he'll go back out alive is up for debate, though.
It's scary.
I think it's high time for dinner.
I agree. I have to talk to you both. Would you mind? What's up all of a sudden?
Ah, so you two went out again, huh?
Yep, about Masato. I want to send him to university.
Even though you're so firmly against sending Sakura, huh?
I'm not against it. I only said that if she wasn't going to university to study hard, there wasn't any reason to go. Back to Masato. He's so close to getting in as a recommended student, but it's a private school. It's quite the tuition, so I would like Sakura to work for the money. What?
See now, I want to begin my university debut. You've already had your fair share, right, sis? Let me have some of that sugar.
Do you even know what university debut means? I went to university so I could study, you know.
And I'm gonna learn about life, so... Sakura's planning on going into graduate school, so her working is out of the question. Instead, I'll stay longer at the office.
Your longer hours are making nothing but peanuts. Way to kick a man in the nuts. I want to send Masato to university. It's obvious we must support him as a family.
I know that. That's why I'm telling you I'll manage the money.
And how are you going to manage? Doesn't your office not allow extra office hours these days?
That is true.
Enough. Your stamp here, if you please. This is a divorce. What? We don't need a father who isn't able to help his own son. Sign this divorce. I'll leave this place.
All right.
But Dad!
I was actually thinking about doing the same thing. Are you okay with this, Masato? Hell yeah! You're stupid anyway. All right then.
Are you sure, Dad?
It's for the best, honey.
After that, my father stamped the divorce notice without any hesitation and gave it to my mother. She took the piece of paper and left. I was at a loss for words at the sheer suddenness of these things. I had just lost my mother.
Are we really gonna hand in that divorce paper? What are we gonna do about the money?
We won't pay a thing. He's gonna come to us on knees, crying in a month's time.
I see. You're so smart, Mom.
Aren't I? Their attitudes are just too stubborn after all. If they'd only given us the money, we wouldn't have to go through with all this nonsense.
They're so stupid.
And so, my mother and brother lived at her house for a month. As they had planned, 1 month later, they took the divorce notice and came back to the family home. What?
Huh? Where's our house?
Where indeed is our house?
But...
My mother and brother started to look frantically for the house. But it seems they can't find it. 4 years later. Excuse me, but I wonder if you have a few moments to spare to discuss. I will send for a lawyer, so if you could please be patient for a bit. Thank you. Huh? Is anything the matter, madam? Sakura? Mom? You bitch! You really did us good! Ah! I'll kill you! Because of you, you were... Someone, please! Help me! Afterwards, I was saved by the staff of the lawyer's office. They contacted my father, and he came to the office right after he was done with work.
Long time no see.
Long time no see, you ass. You freaking ran out on us.
Weren't you the one who left first?
I'll sue you.
I see. So that's why you came to the lawyer's office.
No child support, no palimony. It's a sure win in court, I'm sure. That can't be possible. What did you say?
In the beginning, you never demanded any child support or palimony when you asked for the divorce. So, even after, when you say you want it, there must be a very solid reason, or else...
I have a reason. A good reason. After everything that had happened, Masato couldn't go to university. He had to find a job without going through a life of study. What do you say to that?
Studying life, was it?
In Masato's eyes, I think studying life meant that he just wanted to goof around.
Shut your goddamn mouth! My reason's enough! Enough, I say!
It's rather the opposite. It's at a point where we could demand palimony from you instead.
Excuse me?
Leaving the house unsupervised, and when you're home, you load all the housework onto Dad's shoulders. You waste Dad's money for your own personal interests. Try thinking a little bit. On whose side do you think the judge will be?
Additionally, you never really tried hard to find us during these past 4 years, have you? It would have been a piece of cake if you'd submitted a search request. But no.
But that's...
From start to finish, you were just like your parents.
How dare you!
There are cases of children who've been abusing their own children later on in life. Have you ever heard of that? Because this is a perfect example.
Hey, Mom, if you would like to, how about you and Masato come back to live with us? But on the condition that you take a look at yourself and make some changes.
I'm making some changes. Look here, condescending me? You're mocking me.
You were the one mocking us. For 4 years, we've struggled through quite a bit too, you know.
After you left us, I cried for 3 days and 3 nights straight. I knew you hated me. But I didn't think it was enough to leave the house as plainly as you did. I think Dad was also shell-shocked over what had happened. He couldn't get back up. It was at this point that...
Sakura, can I come in?
Yeah.
Are you alright?
I couldn't get over the fact that Mom left us like that.
Neither could I, honey. But it was only a matter of time before it turned out this way. Your mother is just too cruel. Pushing for Masato going to university when she strongly disagreed with sending you...
Yeah.
Actually, I've been hiding something.
What?
I got a promotion at my office and got almost double the salary.
Really? Congratulations!
But under one condition. We have to move away a bit far. So how about we let this house go? And start a new life together. The two of us.
But...
It's sad about what happened with your mother. But I think it's time for a change. I want this chance to make it happen. So, will you please come with me?
I will, Dad. And so, my father and I moved away. The house was quickly destroyed and we moved into a mansion. I was shocked at my father as we'd moved into a tower mansion. How much of a promotion did you get?
Little pieces of effort will, in the long run, pave the road to something great.
And a new life and a new home began. Without my mother, my father was a different, livelier man. I could do all the housework, so my father broke the chains my mother locked on his hobbies, as he sometimes went on fishing trips alone and played some tennis. We could now live a life of leisurely luxury. While I was very focused on my school assignments and exam studies from the start, a stressless life seemed to give my studying a big shot in the arm. That kind of life went on for 4 years. Even after finishing graduate school, it's pretty hard to pass the bar exams. But I'm learning so much as I work at the lawyer's office. I'm doing my best daily to finally pass the exams next year. So we practically overcame all the hardships and found ourselves on the verge of forgetting all about you, Mom. And even though we have this new life, if you'd like to take a look and make a change, we'll let you back in with arms wide open.
We're telling you all of this, Makiko. So please.
I understand very well. So you now have money. I'm glad to hear that. Mom! I'll go to another lawyer's office and get the court arrangements done. Be very prepared.
Mom hadn't changed a bit, huh?
Agreed. I wonder how Masato's doing.
Hopefully a good life with a good job.
My mother later went to other lawyers to proceed with the call to court, but she was driven away from all establishments. We headed for my mother's home to reunite with my younger brother. But we found that my brother got in a fight with her and is now doing well for himself, living alone and independent. We contacted him, but he responded saying he didn't want anything to do with us anymore. It's sad, but it can't be helped. Maybe for him, he just doesn't want to have to recall the old days. After all this, I don't know what happened to my mother. But what is certain is that she's a victim in all of this. If a kind man like my father was always at her side, she wouldn't have become the person she was. The influence that parents have on their children is indeed enormous.
The name's Ataru Yamamoto. Age 30. I live with my sweet honey, and she's pregnant with my little baby. We're so happy right now. Or so I thought. I'm home, my sweet honey. I'm home now.
Welcome home.
What's wrong? You being sad isn't good for the baby.
I'm not really in the mood.
Honey, what's wrong?
Well, today...
This was a little while before I got home. Riona was with her old friend, Ayumi.
Did it really hurt? Yeah, it hurt a lot. My husband ran away when he saw me giving birth, too. Men are so weak. I know, right? Oh no, it's already 7 p.m. I have to pick up my kids from my mom. Oh no, my darling is coming home soon, too.
Their time went by super quickly, and when they were heading out to leave...
That'll be $86. Ow, that hurt.
Ow! It's because you didn't move here!
What? Shut up. It was you who bumped into me, drunkhead.
Be quiet! Women below me!
What? What age are you from?
Taku, you're too drunk!
Sir, please don't fight in the store.
Sorry, ma'am. We're just about to leave. You too, ladies. I'm sorry he's trying to put up a fight.
What? Let's forget him and leave.
It was so fun until then.
Stress isn't good for the baby. Just forget about what happened today.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to be put down by people like him.
Yeah, oh, your bus is here. I'm gonna take the train, so see ya.
I didn't drink at all, but the atmosphere of a bar made me drunk a little. How efficient. Whoa, that was close. Almost missed the bus. Ugh, it's so crowded here. I don't understand. I'm a salary man and supporting this country. There's no one's moving to let me sit, right? Oh no, it's the drunkhead from before. Oh hey, you're that ugly person from before. I didn't realize, but you're also fat too. How could you walk around being so fat? You should mind your own business. Get lost, pig! Pig? I know people who need men's vibe. Do some sketchy things for work. Shut up! I only see my darling. Their argument began to heat up. Okay, next stop is the park. Darling? That's so gross. Housewives are just free. Give me the 6. Amor!
What? Don't mess with housewives. I know people like you aren't cut out to be housewives.
Shut up, you fat pig!
Ow, what are you doing?
Are you okay?
You've gone too far. This is a crime now.
Oh shit! Hey, wait! Is there something wrong?
This pregnant lady was kicked by a drunk person.
Honey went to the bus company to talk about what happened. Do you know who the man was?
No, he just picked on me at the bar.
Do you know his name?
He was called Taku by his friend.
Do you know his full name?
I said I don't know who he is.
I see. Apparently it's hard to pinpoint who a person is with just camera videos. The good news was that Honey and the baby had no injuries. Obviously, hearing what happened, I can't stand this! I'll kick his ass! You want me to get a detective?
It's okay, we had no injuries anyway.
It's not okay! I can't forgive him! I'll find him and bring justice to him!
The baby is pretty close. I don't want to have any stress on myself, so you forget about it.
If that's the case, sure. A year passed, and we had our first healthy and strong baby. Oh, my little baby, come here.
Don't go there, come here.
Huh? Are you jealous? You can come into my arms too, honey.
Shut up.
You're so cute, honey. If that's the case, I'll go into your arm. Yes. This is sweet, darling. What? Oh, hey, boss! This is Yamamoto. This weekend, we're having a party where all of our clients, subcontractors, and affiliates are coming. Okay? Your client Hanzawa Trading Company is coming too, so you need to come. What? No way! I want to be with my honey and baby all weekend. Oh, okay. Then bring them to the party too. I want to relax at home. There'll be A5 Wagyu there. If that's the case, sure. The day of the party? Mr. Yamamoto, it's a pleasure to do business with you. Thank you. Thank you to you as well. We love to do business with you. It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Yamamoto. I'm always in debt to your husband.
Nice to meet you, I'm Riona.
Oh, the next executive of the company is here today. Do you mind if I introduce you to him? No problem at all. Sugiyama, come here. Yes, sir. Coming right up. This is Mr. Yamamoto, the future CEO of their company. Hey now, I'm not the next CEO. I'm Sugiyama. What a cute baby. How old is she? He's 6 months now. I have a 1-year-old as well. They'll be classmates then. Oh yeah, that's great. Mrs. Yamamoto, nice to meet you. I'm Sugiyama Takuya.
Oh shit.
Huh?
Come over here now. Do you remember the time I was kicked in the stomach?
Yeah, it makes me angry just remembering what happened.
Yeah, that person was called Taku.
Huh?
That person right there is the person.
What? Show me his business card.
Here.
Takuya Sugiyama. Taku. Mr. Yamamoto, is there something wrong? No, we're just talking. Say, what's Mr. Sugiyama called by his friends? My coworkers call me Taku. Oh, really? Say, have you met my wife before somewhere? Yeah, I wouldn't forget seeing someone this beautiful. You're funny, aren't you? I'm not joking around, sir. I'm so jealous. No, see, my wife is fat, right? What? Not at all, sir. Really? And she's a housewife. She's basically a free rider, right? Housewives are very busy, sir. What is it all of a sudden? Oh, sorry. I remembered something really frustrating. See, my baby was in an accident before she was born. An accident? My wife was kicked in the stomach by a drunkhead. Really? Who would do something like that? That's horrible! I'm glad we're on the same page, Mr. Sugiyama. See, I won't ever forgive him for what he did. Was the culprit caught? No, not yet. I see. I hope that he gets arrested soon, sir. I know, right? We're so alike, Mr. Sugiyama. I plan to kick him to the police when I catch him. If there's any way I can help, please let me know. The place was near Hanzawa Trading Company. Do you happen to know anything? It was about 9 months ago, near Honmachi Station. He ran away near the park station, and he was apparently called Taku. Say, Mr. Sugiyama, you were called Taku too, right? You wouldn't be the same person, even though it was pretty close to your office, right? Do you happen to know something? Sugiyama, what's wrong? I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was pregnant. Why are you apologizing? Sugiyama, what did you... I'm so sorry. That was me. I was a little too drunk. Sugiyama, what were you thinking? Mr. Yamamoto, I'm so sorry. I swear, this will never happen. Sure, never happen. As in, never work with you, right? No, please, keep just the contract, will you? Don't mess with me. You kicked my honey and baby, although they were fine then. But we might have lost our baby. It was almost murder. Who can trust a company with a murderer at the top?
Is there something wrong? Apparently a person at Hanzawa Trading kicked a pregnant woman. How awful!
I'm so sorry. It isn't enough that you apologize. We wouldn't need the police if an apology was enough. I'm so sorry! Why are you apologizing? Do you think that's enough? In this day and age, you get down on your knees. Have you not seen the famous drama scene? You need to do exactly that. I'm so sorry!
Wow, I knew he'd do something stupid.
You! Yeah, you! I heard what you said. Tell me more. Tell me, now!
Mr. Sugiyama is famous for looking down on women. He's famous for sexual harassment, and he talks down to people who refuse to go out with him.
And?
Our subcontractors who know of his nature are declining work with us lately.
Hey, so it's not your first time, huh? Hey, CEO! Are you sure your company is okay with him being the next executive? I'll decline his offer of becoming the CEO. No! Oh, right. You said I should bring the culprit straight to the police, right? Just like you said, I'm bringing you to the police right now. Please, anything but that! I have a family! My child is still so small! I don't care. You almost killed my child. And an arrest is not enough. I'm going to request a ton of alimony for what you did, alright? After that, with the help of my lawyer, I was able to request a very large amount of alimony from Sugiyama. Although he was on the elite course, he fell right off that course very quickly. He was declined of becoming the CEO, and his subordinate had become the next CEO, which means now he was the subordinate.
Sugiyama, get a copy of this now.
Okay. His wife found out about all of his deeds, and he was filed a divorce as well. She requested alimony from him too, so he can't quit his job even if he wanted to. Plus, rumors spread on the internet about his misdeeds, and Hanzawa Trading stocks went downhill very, very fast. After this, I began trading stocks as well, in order to buy out Hanzawa Trading. I'm never going to forgive Sugiyama for what he did. You just wait.
My name is Nano. I'm 37 years old. Do you have someone around you who always wants to be better than others? A couple of days ago, I was targeted by a mother who purposefully boasted about herself and her daughter being superior to everyone. Hey, Nano, what's up? Good afternoon, Miss Reena. Listen, there's talk about the group of moms going on a day trip together. It's on Sunday, so I was wondering if you'd like to join us. Oh, I'm sorry, but Sunday is difficult for me. Oh no, do you have some errands? I have work, actually. No way! You're even working on weekends? Well, yes, but please enjoy yourselves on the trip. No days off on the weekends on top of working at night? I feel sorry for you. I would never be able to do that. I can't even work at a part-time job, lol. I really can't understand why some women work even though they're married. Well, it is my husband's enterprise. But, even so, is there really any need for the wife help? Oh, I don't suppose you have debts to pay off? So that's why he's not able to pay for employees and is making you work for him. I am right, aren't I? I'll leave it to your imagination. Oh, well, then you should have told me straight away. If I'd known, I wouldn't have invited you on the day trip. Even if I did, you wouldn't have the money to come, would you? I'm sorry I was so dull. Please, don't mention it. Thank you for inviting me in any case. Ugh, I've done a very bad thing. Let's go some other time, okay? After you're over your debt problems. As an apology, I'll bring back lots of things to talk about, so be sure to look forward to it. Oh, so you're not going to bring back something you bought for me? Well, I mean, you are such a bitch, so I didn't really want anything from you anyway. This woman, who is poking at people's business with condescension, goes by the name of Reena Yakamashi. We are mothers of daughters who were in the same classroom, but as you've seen, she is quite the challenge to get along with. I'll leave the details to how much of a bitch she is to your imagination. Miss Reena simply loves to show off to the other mothers, and she was always on the lookout for mediocre prey to harass. The story behind how I was targeted by such a deranged mother starts at the PTA meeting, where we were deciding the parents' responsibilities. Many parents of students ranging from grades 1 to 6 participate in the PTA. The parents of the oldest kids have the responsibility of chairperson or the managing of school events. In a nutshell, they comparatively have the most work. However, the majority of the mothers were busy with their part-time jobs, with me and my night job, but with some effort I was able to get things done during the day, so I said, since I'm available during daylight hours, I'll do the PTA work that can only be done in the middle of the day. So, may I please ask all of you to take on the responsibilities of PTA work that can be done at your homes? What I said then would appear on Miss Reena's radar. What? What do you mean you're available during daylight hours? Why can't you do stuff at night? While she had a dead expression on her face and had decided that nothing had anything to do with her up until that point, she now was all smiles and bit down hard on her prey. I have a job myself which begins in the evening and goes on through the night. That's why I'm free during the day. What? Wait, so does that mean that you're working at night? At that instant, the parents present started to whisper, God damn it, I've created a misunderstanding. I've been interacting with people who are what you would call night workers on a daily basis, so I didn't have any stereotypes for those people. But I could tell from the expression on her face that she was talking about a different kind of night worker. I don't care what people think of me, but this is where the PTA mothers gather. I would throw a tantrum if my daughter was bullied as a result of some silly rumor about me circulating the mothers. My husband runs a restaurant. What? So you're a mother at your own restaurant? You mean to say that you're your child's mother during the day, and you are the mother of a middle-aged man at night? That's so funny. LOL. Who told you to open your mouth? No, I'm not. No, I assure you that's not the case. It's a family restaurant. Having his own wife work for a restaurant he owns means the business isn't doing so well, right? We will all go to your restaurant someday soon. Oh, would it be inappropriate if women were there? LOL. For the millionth time, it's not that kind of restaurant. Are you even listening to me? We're only serving decent cooking, so it shouldn't be a problem. Ooh, I'm gonna check it out soon. Not to mention it's unsettling to trust PTA responsibilities to someone with a questionable job. Isn't that right, everyone? After that, Mama Insanity nicknamed me Mama of the Night and began laughing at me behind my back. Mama Insanity herself doesn't do much of anything, but her voice was unnaturally loud and would slam her opinion on what to do on the table. As you know, she was at the center of most of the gossip among the mothers. So in order to keep themselves from being ridiculed over a silly story, people kept their distance, subtly. And while the mothers offered me compassion, not one of them admonished her. In any case, my daughter is in grade 6. After graduating, we would be away from Miss Reena, so I told myself to leave it. But that winter, an incident would be the last straw that would make my bursting bag of patience explode. This happened during the parents' visitation day at school. Oh, for someone who's working at night, you should have the simple outfit. Miss Reena, who was the picture of extravagance and cocooned in luxury brand items, stared smugly at me, and I wearing a simple casual suit. Oh, you're one to talk, black sheep. Hime, do your best, honey. Make your mommy proud.
Yeah, I will work hard, Mommy.
Even the child looks like an expensive doll. The sequins could fall off at any time she moves. The fashionable duo were completely immersed in the act of being more noticeable than everyone else. The class was math. The teacher starts writing the problem on the blackboard. Okay, this is a hard one. Does anyone know the answer?
Me! Me!
What? Solved it already? All of the other students, my daughter included, were still doing their calculations in their notebooks. But Miss Reena's looks like the image of confidence. Yes, Miss Yakamashi.
The answer is 3.
Let's see. How did you write your calculations? Miss Reena's daughter started explaining confidently while looking at her notes. But during this, she apparently noticed a mistake.
This isn't right.
What are you doing, Hime? I swear she looks like she's about to destroy her handkerchief. Thank you. I wonder how other people thought about this question. What? Even though my daughter is still thinking about it? Then, after finishing her calculating and even verifying them, My daughter raised her hand quickly. Yes, Miss Sugo.
The answer is 1/2.
Well then, how about coming up to the blackboard and writing down what you thought?
Of course.
Wonderful. You've done so well. No one in the class except for my daughter could solve the problem, and a small round of applause ensued, and my daughter glanced at me, proud of herself. Nice job, Sakura. Eee! However, the person who didn't find all of this nice at all was, of course, this bitch right here. My spider sense tingled, and I whirled to look at her. Damn, I've never seen anyone actually bite their handkerchief. Until class was over, Miss Reena paid no more attention to her daughter and continued glaring at me. Focus on your daughter, I mean, come on. As I'd already seen my daughter do well in class, maybe this is the time to escape. Miss No, where do you think you're going? What would behold me after leaving the classroom to hurry home, Miss Reena, now a voluptuous mass of walking anger and hatred, stood in the way between me and my freedom. How dare you embarrass my daughter in front of everyone like that? Well, I don't think it was embarrassment, to be honest. You know my daughter was hurt because your daughter answered correctly. How do you plan to barter here? Bruh, you ain't no goddamn mafia. But arguing here seems to be futile. Let's try to settle this peacefully. However, seeing that, I didn't respond. Miss Reena picked up the pace. She said something that gnawed at my instinct to kill. Well, in any case, I think I'll understand why your daughter is so goddamn good at math. And pray tell, what do you mean by that? Your family is running a night business, right? You're broke because you have so much debt. And because you, her mother, is employed as a regular worker. Wouldn't that mean your daughter's also helping out with the services? Oh, I see now. You actually run a bar with illegally high prices, and your daughter is doing all of the math for the finances behind the black curtain? LOL. So that's why all of her calculations were so accurate, LOL. Yes, that must be it. One small mistake could get her arrested. You did it. Huh? At that instant, my overflowing jar of overdue patience shattered to smithereens. I don't care what people say to me, but I dare not tolerate anyone who criticizes my daughter's efforts. Why did you shut up? Why don't you say something? As I mentioned before, my family business is a family restaurant and is nothing at all like what you think. A brothel where women service people for money and luxury. I really wonder. Anything can be said, but seeing is believing, LOL. In that case, why don't you stop by sometime? You yourself did say you would the other day, right? We can't trust anyone who runs a suspicious establishment, after all. Why would I go to the restaurant run by the likes of you? Didn't you say something like, I've eaten lots of the best regional food around, so I've grown quite the extravagant tongue and can't find many restaurants that are to my liking? Yes, that's right. That's why while everyone was saying, delicious, delicious, during the trip a while ago, honestly, I wasn't satisfied. Well then, be prepared. I believe we can make you satisfied. My, what a boast. All right, I shall go. I'll invite all the mothers of the PTA, and we'll all go to your restaurant. So, for lunch, I suppose? Be sure to prepare the most expensive lunch course your restaurant can conjure up for all the people that will come. The most expensive course? The cost will be... It won't be that expensive in any case. We'll do it. You really don't need to say anything more about it, LOL. Understood. Miss Reena apparently invited the PTA mothers immediately. Later on, after hearing what the mothers had to say, by the way, isn't it strange how none of us have gone to that Karen's restaurant before? It should be obvious that if she were confident, she would ask us to come. All the more reason if the business wasn't doing well. But the fact she didn't invite us either means she really doesn't have any confidence, or it's just such a terrible shop that she's embarrassed to have anyone see it, LOL. I found out she was quite the mockingbird. A few days later, I received notice from Miss Reena for a party of 15. I asked my husband and we reserved the entire restaurant for lunch that day for the PTA mothers. And now, the true revenge story begins. Hey there! More fashionable than I thought, honestly. The outdoor renovations were expensive, weren't they? Beauty is always on the inside. That's precisely why you're carrying so much debt, you know. Bitchiness, full throttle from the go-ahead. The whole restaurant is reserved today. Please, this way. It's not reserved. You just don't have any other customers, LOL. Someone called for a reservation afterwards, but we had to refuse it, you shithead. So, we will now begin with the course of the day. Everyone, the bill will be paid by me today, so be sure to eat up lots. It was strange that this many people responded to Miss Reena's invitations, but I told myself that it was because they succumbed to her pressure, saying that the meal would be free. And that's fine. The more eyewitnesses, the better. The entire course is explained in detail in front of you, so please feast your eyes as well. Caviar, foie gras, steak. Are you planning on being extravagant with this load of bullshit, Miss Nano? First, the outdoor appearance, but maybe the cooking may also not match up with your ego. There are shops that deceive people into thinking they're luxury by laying out some fancy gourmet on the menu, even though the importance lies in the quality of the food and the skill of the chef. How can you not understand this? You're only using rip-off ingredients to serve cooking cheaply, aren't you? Stuff like that, I immediately see. Please refrain from making opinions on our cooking before you've eaten it. Thank you very much. Starting with the entrees, I brought out each dish of the course, matching the pace of our eating customers. Miss Nano, since it's a special occasion, open a bottle. I'll fetch the wine list. I don't need to see it, LOL. Bring out the most expensive. Are you truly sure about that? The cost is impressive. I'm telling you, it's fine. Don't talk to me about prices. You reek of poverty. Anyone want a drink, LOL? The mothers had no intention of staying to drink, as they had to get back home and prepare for dinner. But Miss Reena started downing the wine. The mothers, from start to finish, were very much enjoying the meal, to my great happiness. But after the main meat dish, Miss Reena said, "See, none of them wore any great skill or taste, LOL. Please refrain from giving your opinion, my sweet ass, LOL. It was delicious, wasn't it? Yes, I think it truly was. I'll tell all of you this right now, that this restaurant is but a deceiving hunk. All right then, I will give you the money now, so add up the bill. As you wish, madam. This is the bill for everyone." Only 30,000 yen for 15 people, LOL. How cheap. I'm not surprised with the quality of the food. Even 2,000 yen would have been too expensive. Would you mind having a closer look? Huh? You got the placement value wrong, madam. 300,000 yen? Precisely. The bill, if you please. How dare you pull my leg? 300,000 on lunch? How can that even be possible? Don't you dare rob us of our money. This is our lunch menu. The course that you have so kindly reserved cost 5,000 yen per person. 50,000 yen for lunch? Additionally, the bottle of wine that you have emptied yourself, while it really should have cost you 250,000 yen, with some friends and family discounts, I've arranged it to make it a perfectly even price of 300,000 yen. You know, there's no way I can pay for that. With shitty ingredients like that, 5,000 per person is unacceptable.
My good madam, this is not the case.
This is my husband and owner of this restaurant.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for always taking care of my wife. And now, about the ingredients in our course that you have so mercilessly chastised. The chef and I decided the best of the best for every single one of them, and had them imported here. It is indeed costly, but it is the price to pay for delicious, top-notch cooking. Actually, the overall price would be even more expensive than what you see before you. But if that were the case, you wouldn't come back with a bright spirit and a hungry stomach, so we restrained the price.
But what a difference does it make if the cooking isn't good? You're not getting any brass out of me.
I see. You won't pay for something that you were not satisfactory with, I suppose. So how about we ask the rest of our beloved customers? How was the course today?
In response, everyone so kindly said that it was very delicious to their heart's content.
It seems that everyone except for you was very satisfied with the meal. So, after deducting your individual bill from the total, we have arranged the price of 295,000 yen. How about it, madam?
How can I pay such a vast price? We appear to be at an impasse. We don't want any trouble here. So how about you contact your husband and have him arrange the bill? That's no good either. If he found out that I spent this much money, he'll divorce me. In the end, Miss Reena bitched on so much right where she sat, and it was finally concluded that all of the mothers would pay for their own meal. Everyone seemed very satisfied with the cooking and praised us by asking to serve them perhaps on special occasions. But even so, Miss Reena drank a whole bottle of our most expensive wine. There were more expensive choices, mind, and the placement value would be different by one more, so I refrained myself from giving her that one. So she was left with no choice but to pay 200,000 herself. After that, any stupid rumors about me faded away, forgotten. However, the accelerating situation regarding the divorce of Miss Reena is a hot topic among the mothers. It seems that later on, when her husband reviewed his credit card balance, she interrogated her on how she spent 200,000 yen. However, because Miss Reena said she was scammed by one of the mothers, her temporarily angered husband came storming into the restaurant. My husband and I explained the situation to him, and I showed him the many rude messages that Miss Reena wrote to me. I also told him that if he still refused to believe us, we had other mothers who were eyewitnesses. But he sincerely apologized for his idiot wife and left without saying anything else. And I don't know what kind of conversation ensued at home after that, but it shouldn't be too hard to imagine that Miss Reena was sternly scolded. It's rumored that divorce is imminent. She brought this upon herself by being condescending to other people. But if she had just listened while I was explaining the price to her, it wouldn't have ended like this. The moral of the story? Never put yourself above other people.